Welcome back to the Mission Debrief, everybody. My name is Alex.
And I'm Haley.
And it is December 23rd, 2025, an extra special podcast of the Mission Debrief for all of you fans out there. Haley, why don't you tell us who the Mission Debrief is sponsored by?
The Mission Debrief has been sponsored by Specialty Gas House since our premiere. So we're really excited to continue that partnership. I even got some Christmas gifts this year from them.
Tell us what you got.
No, because if someone listens to this...
No, go ahead.
If they're recipients...
Back it up. Why don't you tell us what you got?
No. Because of somebody who listens to this who I got...
Okay, that's fine. I validate it, but you have to share afterwards.
Okay, yeah, after. Anyways, thank you, Specialty Gas House. We have really loved. We even got to fly with a representative from there with Aaron. So just really, really grateful for you guys. What better way to end 2025 than just a very short recap of the year, things that we remember from the year, maybe some things we chatted about. We're going to talk about sponsors for 2025. And if you stay tuned to the end of this podcast, you will get to hear a sneak peek of all of the spring flight dates. So you can be the first to hear it here, listening to the Mission Debrief.
That's what I'm talking about.
So, Alex, 2025
year in review. On Alex's side of things, what I see through the lens, I would like to say, first of all, shout out to the operations team. Not only shout out to the operations team, shout out to all of our hardworking volunteers, from those individuals who came out for the first time, and they are hooked for life. Shout out to everyone who came to a welcome home, a huge, huge part of the day for our veterans. Most would likely say, when you ask them years ahead, what do you remember? A lot of them would say, I remember, changing the guard. That was very special. The Vietnam Wall was very special. But I would guarantee you 90% of the time they would say that mail call and their welcome home. Their welcome home was the thing that they appreciated the most, the thing that they remember the most. And so I would like to say 2025, the thing I reflected on the most was the selfless hearts of everyone. I know this is about our veterans that go, but I would like to say that 2025 for me has been a self-reflection on all the people that make everything go round. I don't know if was I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would like to say that it has been truly incredible, not only to get to know all the volunteers, but all the hours that they put in, all of their specialties, even if they don't have a specialty, even if it's something that they didn't want to do in that very moment, they were given a job. They did it with the utmost respect for the veterans that we take on the flights. And it means the world. That's one thing that I've been truly focusing on.
I think you bring up a really important piece, and it's not unique to Honor Flight Columbus. This year, Beth and I had the opportunity to go on a flight with another hub, Lone Eagle, who flies veterans who don't have access to a hub or who are terminally ill. And stepping into that role on that flight was such a testament to what the Honor Flight program does all over the country, and a reminder that whether you are here in Columbus or you are on the West Coast or East Coast, there's opportunity to serve veterans through Honor Flight. I would say a note on what you were saying about the volunteers. I can certainly say from the standpoint of the office, we are so incredibly grateful. All the chaotic moments with people movers and changes and shifts that we made this year to make it possible to fly veterans to begin with. Thank you for your flexibility, for every moment you pivoted with us. It wasn't easy. We know that. And we are so appreciative of each and every one of you who has made it possible, who have gone on the flights, who have done the stuff here in the office, in the airport, all of it. Like you said, it's what makes it possible. I think I really, in terms of volunteers, I was really struck this year by watching volunteers get invested in each other's lives, going above and beyond the call of just like an Honor Flight volunteer and wanting to go the distance with each other. So whether it was checking up on, like I had volunteers who are my friends who would check up on me and just be like, hey, how are you doing? Just checking in on you pretty regularly, or volunteers who showed up to different activities that were going on for each other. I think that's the stuff that really reminds us that this is a family, and it's not something we require. It's not even something we necessarily encourage. It's just something that happens. And it's a very humbling thing to be a part of. So I love to get to watch that.
Most definitely. What would you say, this is hard, I'm going to put you on the spot. What would you say was the one pivotal moment, not pivotal, one remembering moment that you remembering moment that you remember? I'm very good with words.
So I think, and we've talked about this before, there were 2 moments for me this year. Technically 3. One is more recent, very emotional to my heart. So I think I'm going to keep that one to my heart. But the other 2, one was one we've talked about in terms of when we were at the Vietnam Wall and we came across that veteran who wasn't with us, who had the list of, pages of names. And I think for me, the reason that was really important and sticks with me is just, it's because of the fact that it's why we do it, to get all veterans on the flights, or at least the options of. So it was a reminder that there are veterans out there that still want and need access to this program, because they need to know that you can come to the wall and you don't have to go alone. And I think that mission, it just kind of, it's that same concept that I wrote about and the blog post about the empty chair, and understanding what that means, that there are more veterans that want to be a part of this, either don't know it exists, think that they have to have money for it, or, they live too far from the airport, whatever the thing, the hang up, maybe it's an emotional hang up that they're afraid to come. It's a reminder. It's that moment of like wanting to continue this work to get them involved. The second moment that really stands out to me was at the reunion, and seeing my very first veteran ever, which we've talked about Joe here as well, because it's such a reminder to me. So it's kind of like, it's interesting because the moment I just shared about the Marine, it's like, it's a representative of all the work we have to do still. And Joe's kind of a representative to me of all the work we have done. And both are equally inspiring to keep going. So I just think getting to see veterans you've flown with in the past. And then I spent some time this Christmas season. I did Christmas cards for my veterans, and that I've been a guardian for, and just kind of spending that reflection of what an incredible thing to get to be a part of somebody else's honor flight. What about for you?
Most memorable moment. The triple M. Most memorable moment. Yeah, that's right. Triple M. Had to rethink my whole acronym. Most memorable moment for me. Honestly, that's a very hard one. I met so many individuals this year. I will say I can't specifically say which flight it was on, but I do remember I met I was getting ready to say a young man, young in his eyes, because he was living it up. He was getting hugs from all the ladies, all of our volunteers, but a very courageous man that was at Iwo Jima, and I gave lots of hugs to. But I got a chance to interview him. At lots of interviews this year that really stuck out with me. But his was the most, and he wasn't sharing stories about himself during during the Battle of Iwo Jima. It was more so of he was sharing a story of his friend, and who had to take command during that time. I think there was I forget his sergeant. There was probably 12 guys that they were, kind of isolated, and everyone, between those ranks, it died all the way down to the guy who went to boot camp the first, out of all of them. They were all privates, and he took command, and he did it very courageously. And it just, the reason it stuck with me is because after that gentleman had went home, he never really could live with being in charge of those men, and later lost his life to himself. And it just reminds me of all the men and women who have served our country, who we will never get the chance to give them their honor flight. And it was a bit heartbreaking just to listen to. And I, before he had told me that man, had lost his life, I was like, man, I really hope I, get to meet this guy. Maybe I get a chance to interview him, get a chance to meet, a real war hero. And when he told me that, it just reminded me of, there's a lot of people, a lot of courageous young men and women that will never get to give them their flight, and that's why we do it. So, yeah, I think that was mine. That was my pivotal moment. But I got to interview a lot of really, really cool individuals, some that I think are younger than me at heart. And I learned a lot about myself along the way. So
that's great. I agree. We did get to talk to some great veterans with some incredible stories. Speaking of, let's talk a little bit about kind of operationally some updates from the year. So by the end of the year, we had piloted a program with National Veterans Memorial Museum and StoryCorps to record more stories of veterans. So we had some brave volunteers who, in addition to their typical duties, kind of took on this recording component. And between two flights, we had several dozen stories recorded, which I thought was pretty amazing. Some of which were, on the technical side, we're working to get things going. So they're not all officially uploaded yet. I'm in the process of it, but all of that to say, I think that's a really promising partnership that I hope other honor flights are going to get involved with as well, because our veterans their legacy does deserve to be honored and continued. But huge thank you to the museum, to Mason over at the museum. That partnership has really grown this year, and we're really excited about it. We also had some incredible fundraisers held this year in our honor. So in case you were wondering, any fundraisers that you see out in the community, again, is the community putting those on for us. So whether it be Honor Flight Night in Cumberland, Ohio, or the different things put on by Washington Township, or you see peanuts being sold, the golf cart raffle, all of these things were held in our honor, and we are so grateful for that. I think maybe now's a good time to go ahead and drop some futuristic things. So you were talking about volunteers and just the community in general. We got this year it's a really cool story, and we'll talk more about it in the fall, but we got a check in the mail for $100,000 to sponsor a flight from a family, which was a huge thing. It's in memory of two loved ones. Again, we'll talk more about that in the fall. I always think those take your breath away. Also because there's so many zeros. So you're like, oh my gosh. But then also something I'm really excited about is in the spring, our sponsors are a lot of people who have sponsored us in the past and are coming back for more. So if you were part of the golf cart raffle this year, thank you so much for your contributions.
And we will take a ride on your golf cart.
There's a story with that. The person who won actually donated it back. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm not sure.
Well, I take it back again. I did win the golf cart raffle.
You did not win the golf cart raffle. That would be a conflict of interest. I don't think you're even allowed to purchase them. But anyways, all of you who contributed to the golf cart raffle, thank you so much. It raised enough to be half of the sponsor of our first flight, Mission 149, along with the Worthington Moose. So that's a really cool way to get involved if you belong to the Moose. The Moose. I don't think it's Meese. I think it's just Moose. But the different moose clubs around. This one is sponsored by the Worthington Moose, but a lot of their proceeds that are raised in their gaming donations as well come to us. We are also partnering with Ohio Health and the Ross Veteran Network for a flight, which is going to be really special. And then our third flight of the season, Mission 151, is going to be sponsored by Honor Flight Night Cumberland and the Veterans Appreciation Foundation. So that's going to be a big one. Really excited about that. The people who put that on, the Honor Flight Night at Cumberland, which is something as the director of outreach that I love about it, is it's not right here in Columbus. So it's reaching part of our community that's further out. And that's a really important thing to us. So a huge thank you to them as well. And I think you're going to start seeing as well this spring, some other partnerships take place, like our Washington Township Fire Department friends. They are sponsoring Mission 153 in which will be the last flight of the season, but you'll see our flower sales. So I know you're thinking about Christmas gifts right now, but Mother's Day is going to come way faster than you want it to. So keep an eye out for the flower sale. Even more importantly, in March, we have the firefighter ball that Washington Township puts on. This is their biggest fundraiser for Honor Flight. So if you're looking for a good time in March, especially because winter gets dreary and tiring and whatever, please come on out. We'd love to see you. Tickets go on sale January 1st. So that's coming really, really quick. So definitely check that out. We'll be pumping out some media for that so you can see how fun it is and kind of the different things that you can get involved with there. There's usually live music, great food, drinks, and an incredible silent raffle. It's all held in a hotel, so you can stay the night if you're staying late and kind of treat yourself to a weekend inn, if you will. And then our final sponsor for the spring is Mission 152. We have the All Life Foundation, who's been a sponsor of ours for a few years now. Just a really great partnership. So we're excited about those sponsors coming to us. We'll get to meet some of the faces of these organizations on the flights. So yeah, what would you say was the sponsor you kind of got to know more this year on the flights? Through whether it be interviewing or just through circumstances? Was there a sponsor that you were like, oh, wow, we really clicked this year?
I would hate to brag on it too much, but however, probably our sponsor for this podcast. I not only got to speak with him, I think previous one or two podcasts back, got to talk to the guys, the grill guys, you know, the good grill guys who maybe it's because they made me a burger as well. It was a delicious burger. But no, I between those individuals, the individuals at Vance that treated us very, very well, I got to know some of those. And then also I would say Battelle as well. I did not know between Nationwide and Battelle how many individuals we have within our organization that help out, which is pretty cool. I know we harked on it before in previous episodes, but like current employees that now I know currently as friends and family through Honor Flight. And I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't know you worked there too, you know, and they all have different capacities, but yeah, I would say I got to know them the most.
I think that's a really great point. And something I want to mention too is just a huge thank you to the individual volunteers who are donating, especially the ones donating, you know, at least in light of this conversation, who are donating through employee giving. So Nationwide, and Battelle does it as well. This is an incredible way to sponsor veterans getting to DC. And like you said, so many people who are a part of our organization are also longtime employees. I mean, I can think of like 4 or 5 right off the bat who are Nationwide, and who are not just here when we fly with Nationwide, they're here all the time.
I know you said just a moment ago about Ohio Health and Ross Veteran Network that they're going to fly the big 150th. I'm very, very excited. I've worked a lot with Ohio Health over the years, personally in my own career, whether working for them, working alongside with them in contract. And I'm excited to get to know some of those individuals that come along with us.
Yeah. And I think, you know, we've continued to get to know those who work with the All Life Foundation or who are associated with it. like you said, with Vance. I personally, and I think too, from a logistics standpoint, because our EMTs are so involved with our logistics, the Washington Township flight is always such a good time. And just seeing the heart of our community, specifically those in the role of first responders, and how much they give, not just in their professional world, but then how much they give. Huge shout out to Chuck. Chuck goes above and beyond all the time, constantly looking for fundraisers. They added a pancake breakfast, which was really successful, that we did this fall. And then, like we said, he puts on a great show and a great party and just an all around good time in March for the Firefighters Ball. So we're really excited about that. And I guess without further ado, we should introduce our spring flight dates. So Mission 149 is going to be March 25th. Please, if you are contacted and sign up for this, our training is March 11th. So all of our trainings take place 2 weeks beforehand. So that puts us Mission 150 on April 15th, Mission 151 May 6th, Mission 152 May 27th, and finally Mission 153 on June 10th. So those are going to come pretty quickly. So mark your calendars, join us at the Welcome Home. Get ready, because we're going to start contacting volunteers here in the next several weeks. So we are excited. Monitor your emails.
And that has been a special episode of the Mission Debrief. My name is Alex.
And I am Haley. And we wish you a Merry Christmas, a happy holiday season, and we will see you in the new year.